Hey, what's up guys? It's Silver here with a review today. So this is the PXN F16 HOTAS, or just joystick. Um, I've been using this thing for probably 2 years now. I use it for Microsoft Flight Simulator and DCS as well. It's around $40, maybe 30. I don't remember the price, but it's a great joystick for just getting started. Uh, I'm doing this right now because soon, probably tomorrow, I'm getting a new flight stick, the X56, and I didn't see many reviews of the PXN F16, which is what this is, so I might as well do one right now. So the PXN F16 has four axes. There's Z axis back and forth, which would be rudder. There's the Y axis, the X axis. I believe those are the names. And then we have the throttle axis. So those are what the different flight controls. So you would use throttle, elevator would be pushing and pulling, side to side would be ailerons, and then left to right would be rudder. So next up we have let's start with the side buttons here. So there are 6 of these, 3 on each side, 9, 8, and 7, 10, 11, 12. So these are really useful. I use 8 as landing gear for most games. Other times I use G on the keyboard, but it's just kind of on Microsoft Flight Simulator. I usually use 8 for the landing gear, while on DCS I just use G, and I'll have this set to maybe long range missile mode, something like that. 7, 9. 9 I usually would use for countermeasures because it's a quick pull away. So that's a big thing. 10, 11, 12. It's kind of, I use 10. I don't really use these too much. 10 I sometimes use for master switch, like master arm switch, but not too much. So onto the joystick. Has this nice wrist rest, which is really comfortable. It's very comfortable, actually. It's not exactly flat. It's kind of curved down, so it matches your palm grip, which is the side of your palm, really nicely, as well as get that there. These, they fit. Personally, they fit in my hand really nicely. Well, not super well, but pretty comfortable. It may differ for you if you have smaller or larger hands, but for me it's good. And while we're in this position, I can show you the one, which is trigger, which obviously I use for trigger on DCS, or for Microsoft Flight Simulator, I actually use trigger for brakes, because you can't shoot in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I feel like they should add a combat mode for, just saying. Anyway, for 2, we have, there's a button on the side where your thumb naturally rests, which is the 2. I usually use it as weapon release or weapon change. So that's just right there. You can change it, click, shoot, change to missiles, and then, fire. Here we have a hat switch, hat switches, which, or I guess POV hat, which I do use for POV, up, down, left, up, down, left, right. You can also do in between, so top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Another thing is these buttons up here, 5, 3, 4, and 6. Also really amazing buttons to have on a right? Because they just rest and you're quick, easy to click. I usually use this. I use number 5 up top to get for guns, 3 as target lock, I believe, 4 and 6. 6 sometimes is flats for my Sukhoi 33, but it could change. Especially with the new flight stick that I'm gonna get, is gonna have a throttle on this left side and more buttons up top. But right now we're talking about the PXN F16. So I've never had any of these axes break or do anything weird. I do not install the software it comes with because it will crash your Microsoft Flight Simulator. When I first got this for Microsoft Flight Simulator and I first installed the software for it, it would not allow Microsoft Flight Simulator to open. So that is one thing to definitely be aware about. Other than that, it's been perfectly fine for me. No brakes, all throttles work well. Nice, good movement. I think it's a good fair amount between the center point and how far it moves to each side. Throttle is a bit weird, but you can always bring your hand over there. It's a all-in-one HOTAS, so can't really complain about the throttle here. I personally really like this throttle, other than some other options I've seen where it's just a slider. This whole thing moving just makes it feel so much better. Easier to grip, easier to like vary and like change, like you go quick, back, stuff like that. So the cord is, it's braided, so, but it's not super long. It's, I'd say 4 feet maybe. I don't entirely remember the specs of this. Oh, another thing to note, on the bottom here, there's vibration controls, which I completely forgot about because I just hardly never use it. I always just turn, that's it off, and then you can switch it on. I just keep it on. I like vibrations, even though I don't usually feel them too much. But that's all that's on the bottom. The grips of this, not super great. Like, that's just me poking it, and like, especially like pushing forward, I'll sometimes move it forward, so not super great on the gripping aspect, but not super terrible either. It's better than some things, especially if you're forcing it down and then moving, then it's a bit harder to move, but, and usually you're not doing too much where it should like bounce around too much, like hopefully you're not doing this. But yeah, I think for the price, $30 to $40, this thing is a great deal for what you get out of it. I've been using this for 2 years with little to no complaints about it. Just a few little minor things like the grips and how the see, I can't even think of any complaints. It's just, I do wish there was some more buttons, like maybe up here, or maybe like a button right for the pinky, which would be great. But other than that, it's perfectly good. I really like this joystick. I will be giving it to my brother when I get the X56 tomorrow, and I think he'll like it. It's definitely not too big for a small hand, not too small for a large hand. Overall, I think this is a great joystick, and you should definitely consider getting one of these. Unless you have more money to spend, then maybe you could get like something more. But yeah, that's my review of the PXN F16 HOTAS that I've been using for 2 years. Now I'm going to jump into Microsoft Flight Simulator and show you, just have a hand cam of me just using this. Alright, and we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we're currently flying the F18 for this preview, or I guess I don't know what you would call it, the continued review of this, the flight stick, the second half of actually showing you it in flight. So first, these two buttons up on the right side, 6 and 4, I use for flaps on Microsoft Flight Simulator. 6 for to raise flaps, as you can see, 4 to lower flaps. So we're gonna put flaps down to 30 degrees. I use 2 as parking brake, so parking brake should be off. If we forget which, right, I use these keys on the right side, or not keys, I would say buttons, as my POV. So 10 cockpit, 11 is aircraft view. So just make sure parking brake is off. As you can see, trigger is my brakes. You can see the pedals moving forward because you can't shoot in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so just might as well use it as brakes, something easy. Axes, so right rudder, be able to see here, right, left, ailerons, and elevator, because this is a fighter jet, which uses elevator steering as well. Back for just elevator, forward, pitch down, up, down, and I believe we're good to go. So back to the cockpit, if we move this right here, you can see throttle go up, throttle go down, and we're ready to fly. So first, forward throttle. I prefer flying Microsoft Flight Simulator in the back unless I have VR, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I kind of adjust that. 12 is my resetting view, so we're gonna go full. By the way, this does not register afterburner. So as you can see, I don't know why oh yeah, because I did click as you can see, the landing gears 8 for me. But this, an important thing to note is this does not register afterburner unless you're in DCS. For Microsoft Flight Simulator, you will have to put it as a different key, which I use right control as afterburner. Now we have afterburner, so fly around, put flaps up, forgot to do, so just fly around a bit, some fun. Usually I would put the sensitivity of my aircraft, so if I go to controls, sensitivity, that's for the mouse. So right here, PXN F16. Usually I would go to sensitivity and turn these, make it really sensitive, so like that much is like all the way to like the max it can be. But I reset it just because I was doing some Cessna flying. But yeah, usually I have it there so I don't have to pull back so much, which is actually realistic to most fighter jets. Actually, they have really sensitive controls, so they can be more maneuverable and such. But for what I'm doing right now, just showing off the PXN F16, because I didn't actually see many reviews on this. This is a good good budget, as you can see we're clipping some trees, a good budget joystick and throttle. I would refer this to more of a joystick over a HOTAS. A HOTAS I feel is more separate throttle and stick, so that's why I would say this is more of a joystick. But yeah, this pretty much all. Great, again, I can't stress this enough, great joystick, or HOTAS for the price, $30 to $40. If you don't have that much money and you're just getting into flight simulators, and or you just don't have enough desk space to get to like a throttle and a joystick for separately, that's one thing that I don't see many review channels talking about, space. If you don't have the space then, and you only have enough to get one, this is a good option. It doesn't take up too much room. Don't exactly have anything to compare it to at the moment, but yeah, have a good day, and probably my next review will be a first thought of the X56 HOTAS. Bye.